Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, The Wealthy Mindset. It's yours truly, Money Making Mitch. And as usual, guys, this is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence and research. Happy Monday. The EU just gave new guidance on their tariffs. What does it truly mean for NEO? Well, the bad news is immediate challenges: higher prices, lower sales, if NEO simply pays the new tariff, which for them are the 21% incremental rate. The price of its imported cars like the ET7, EL6 in Europe will rise significantly. This could make them less competitive against European brands and Tesla, which only faces like a 7.8% tariff, potentially hurting sales volume in the short term. Now, having said that, we all know that even with the Chinese EVs having a higher tariff, they are still catching up to Tesla in Europe, and Tesla is losing massive market share. Complex compliance. Following the EU's guidance to avoid tariffs in a bureaucratic and costly hurdle, NEO would have to open its books and operations to EU investigators to prove it's not benefiting from unfair subsidies, which is an intrusive and uncertain process. The potential help or silver lining. Paradoxically, these policies could ultimately benefit NEO relative to its Chinese competitors and accelerate its long-term European strategy. Here's why. NEO is uniquely positioned to meet the guidance. Premium independent branding. NEO has always marketed itself as a premium innovation brand, not a low-cost, state-subsidized volume player. Its focus on design, user community, NEO houses, and proprietary technology, battery swap, NEO Life, help it argue it's a commercially driven company. Global supply chain efforts. NEO has actively seeking battery partnerships outside China with BYD's FinDreams for some batteries. Diversifying its supply chain away from exclusively Chinese suppliers is a key part of complying with the EU no significant distortions requirement. Because remember, guys, we get our suspension system for the ET9 from an American company in Massachusetts. Steer-by-wire comes from a European company. So we are diversifying. Transparency. As a publicly listed company in New York Stock Exchange, Hong Kong, NEO already adheres to international financial reporting standards, which ticks a major box in the EU's guidance. It accelerates NEO's localization for Europe plan. The EU ultimate goal is to force production into Europe. NEO has been slower than BYD or SAIC to announce a European factory, but this policy is a massive push to do so. Made in EU, no tariffs once NEO manufactures cars within the EU or possibly the UK. Those vehicles bypass the punitive tariffs entirely. This policy makes building a European factory not just an option, but a strategic necessity for a long-term survival in the market. It would really be a slap in the face to the EU if they build it in the UK or in countries that are friendly to China, like Hungary. They could attract EU partners to build a factory. NEO might seek joint ventures or partnerships with European entities. This local partnership would further strengthen its case as a market-oriented company and ease political and consumer acceptance. It hurts neo-Chinese competitors more. The Tesla of China versus the volume sellers, brands like SAIC, MG, which face the highest tariff, 38%, are in a much tougher spot. Their business model relies heavily on competitive pricing. NEO's premium model is less price sensitive. If the playing field in Europe becomes premium brands and locally made cars, NEO's relative position improves. Clears the field. The tariffs may force some cheaper Chinese brands to delay or abandon their European plans, reducing the long-term competition and allowing NEO to solidify its position as the leading premium Chinese EV innovator in Europe. NEO's massive investment in battery swap stations in Europe is a unique hard to replicate moat. The EU policies will make it harder for other Chinese brands to enter at scale and match this infrastructure investment. This protects NIO's unique selling proposition. Short term, 1 to 3 years, NIO will likely absorb some of the tariff costs to protect market share while aggressively pursuing the guidance route to apply for a lower tariff rate. They will market their cars on innovation and experience, not just price. Medium term, 3 to 5 years, they will fast track plans for local European assembly or production, possibly starting with CKD completely knocked down kits assembled in a partner's plant, followed by a full factory. This is the ultimate solution. Long term, if successful, NIO could emerge as a Europeanized global brand with deep local roots insulated from trade wars. The EU's tough policies could force NIO to become a more resilient, globally integrated company. In conclusion, the new policies hurt NIO's short-term ease of business in Europe. However, they potentially help NIO's long-term competitive position by forcing a necessary localization that build a strong European presence, weeding out low-margin price-focused competitors from China, rewarding NIO's existing brand strategy of premium innovation over cheap volume. In essence, the EU is building a high wall. NIO has the technology, brand, and business model that might allow it to build a gate in that wall, while other Chinese competitors are left outside. So I hope you guys found this video yet again to be informational, inspirational, and motivational on a Monday. If so, guys, boop, boop, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. It takes a lot of time to do these videos and the editing. And if you haven't yet subscribed, you might want to think about doing so, because in this channel, we are waking up the middle class for the first time to get a major piece of the pie from the ground level up as to how the games are played on Wall Street. And like 50 said, we get rich or we die trying, guys.